Let's go, Rider Nation.
I'm ready. I'm ready. Yeah, here we go. It's a feeling now. Get 'em high, get 'em low, 'cause we're dealing now. Everybody's giving it all they got, 'cause we're ready.
Welcome to the Piffles Podcast, your Saskatchewan Roughriders fan podcast. Thanks for joining us here this week. As always, you got me. I'm Alex.
I'm Steve.
And did anything happen this weekend? I don't know. I was too busy at the Thunder game. I'm assuming we locked in that home playoff game.
Yeah, things are.
Of course we did.
Grand here in Riderville right now. Everything's just peachy keen. The sky is not falling, and people are very level-headed right now, as
That's
per
right,
usual, as it is here in Rider Nation. Yeah, so you didn't miss anything by not being able to watch the game live.
This team is going to be the death of me, man. Like, why can't you just win the games you are supposed to win?
Well, post game, Steve and I did the post game show presented by the Regina Thunder, and I mean, we kind of said it then, like, why were we surprised? We should expect this from this organization. They've never not shown us that they'll ever change, and we expect them to change. So it's
an us problem. It's an us problem.
Yeah, it's truly our fault. Yeah. Anyway, we're going to talk about that Elks game coming up here. We won't get too much into it. Get more so Greg's thoughts on it, since Steve and I did the post game show. But anyway, the Piffles Podcast brought to you by Elphinstone Street, or Dairy Queen on Elphinstone Street, not the whole street. That's pretty tough to do. Dairy Queen on Elphinstone Street and Sass Drive in Regina. Thanks for listening wherever you get your podcasts, watching on YouTube, watching on SaskTel Max TV on demand. Give us a follow on social at Piffles Pod. I'm at Real Alex D.
You'll find me at Safamod.
And as always, I do not need nor want your pity follows at Greg on Sports.
We're also proud to be sponsored by Kathy Feshton of Royal LePage Next Level, Churchill Brewing Company, District 306, Regina's tactical laser tag experience, Bigfoot Vodka, and Creasy's Premium Home Leisure Jacuzzi Spas. All right, let's get it.
That was a big sigh.
Let's get it over it. Time for the opening kickoff. Opening kickoff presented by Kathy Feshton of Royal LePage Next Level. Riders and Elks on Saturday, losing 27-25, dropping their record to a league best 10-4, worst first place team ever in history. Blow it all up. Sky is falling. It's over. It's over.
I see you've Rider Nationed before, Alex.
This is just riderfans.com.
Like, this isn't your first rodeo. You know it very well.
Yeah. So, Greg, we talked about it, but let's get your thoughts on that game. I want to start with we'll go with the first half. The slow starts that we've seen from this team. To not get anything going basically for the entire first half until 30 seconds left, to me was just that was the game right there. They just couldn't get anything going, and it took them way too long to get into it.
Yeah, if these starts were any slower, they'd yell True North during the national anthem. Like
Wow.
Shots fired.
Well,
Alex really likes that one.
why can't they get this going? They've got like 1,000-yard rusher in AJ Ouellette. They've got 1,000-yard receiver in Keyshawn Johnson. They got Sam Emilus back. Why? And Trevor Harris, for some reason, has the yips. He's throwing the ball nowhere near his receivers. Like, what is going on? Like, it just baffles me how slow this team. And then all of a sudden in the fourth quarter, it's like, okay, we're marching. We're going to get this game. It's like, do that in the first. Do that in the first quarter. Points in the first quarter scored just as much as points in the fourth quarter. Spread them out.
In fact, they might actually be more valuable in the first quarter.
I saw it on Rider fans, but the Riders have scored just like 12 points in the first quarter over the last like 6 games or something like that. Like I'd have to go back and double check that, but like it's true though. Like the offense just is not doing anything to start games. It's like they're trying to see what defense, like what kind of defense the opposition is playing, and then react to that. When I'd prefer to see them institute your offense, make them adapt to you, do what's going to work for you guys. What is your strength? Work on that. And
typically,
play calling is just, I mean, we talked about it, Steve. The play calling is just too predictable, especially on first down when you know it's going to be AJ Ouellette up the A gap. Like, let's see something different a little bit. Put him outside. He can make the cuts, and he's been making good jump cuts and getting to the outside and breaking off 10-yard runs throughout the entire season, but just not happening often enough.
He's honestly been more dangerous when he's been running to the outside than up the middle for exactly that reason. Teams are stacking the box against him because they know every first down, run up the middle, short slant, something like that. That's just what they do. That is the entirety of their offensive game plan for first down. But when they change it up and do run him outside, that's when he's rushing off those long runs. And he's not the big guy he was a couple of years ago. He has the speed now to make those plays and make guys miss. He's not just the bowl him over, run through him guy.
And typically pro teams script out their first 10 plays. So, like, yeah, everyone knows what they're going to do. So, switch it up. Why can't you? Like, try to get them uncomfortable. Because if you get a defense uncomfortable, that's when you're going to make them make mistakes. But if you're going to have them going, oh, I've seen this in film, I know exactly where this is going, like, they're going to tee off on you all the time. And the fact that you can't get that going for an entire half is blows me away, especially considering you're the first team in the entire CFL.
The defense in the first half I thought was excellent. Got a good pass rush, 3 sacks in the first half. They really kept them in it, and then it was just the breakdowns at the end for the defense. The deep balls. Roland Milligan had the according to Glenn Suter anyway on the broadcast. Milligan played the short guy when he should have had the deep guy. That was a big 40-50 yard pass, whatever it was, setting up another score for Edmonton. Kosei Onyeka, Godspeed dinner on Delta. We'll talk about that in a minute. Getting beat Edmonton's last drive. Man, one of the first times we've seen this team play man defense this entire season, and he gets absolutely dusted. So just it kind of reminded me a little bit of that first Edmonton game where Edmonton got nothing going, but had 3 plays, and all of a sudden they were only 3 points down.
Yep.
And this is exactly what this game kind of felt like. Like Edmonton wasn't really doing anything. You take away one big Rankin run, which was assisted by a non-holding penalty or non-called holding, and then 2 deep passes. They didn't get much going either. So it's just this team's not good enough right now to overcome that, I guess.
But that once again, that comes with, and there's always been a complaint about this team, is they just can't seem to put their foot on the throats of their opponents. They rather like shadow box and spar with them the entire game and then earn the victory, as opposed to just putting their foot down and just winning. Like they're playing to go 1-0 every week, not to win, if that makes sense. Like they if they came out with a 2-point win, they'd be like, "Hey guys, the plan worked. We just had to stick with the plan. Trust the process." No, guys, there needs to be a little emphasis on speed. There needs to be a little emphasis on putting points on the board, because at some point that like you're going to the playoffs, and that 2-point loss is going to be your season.
I'm really glad you brought up the defense. If anything, if I learned anything from Saturday night in Edmonton, it was that this team needs Tavon Campbell back in a big way. And that's funny. If you go back to our preseason conversations, and I said this in the post game, if you go back to those preseason conversations, it was a matter of, does he make the team? Now it's a matter of, he is arguably the backbone of that defensive backfield. And he's the guy that's making those big plays when we need him. And we didn't have that at all on Saturday. One bounce going our way, and that's a completely different game. And he's the guy that's been providing those. You know, it's nice to get the pass rush that we did, but we need those guys healthy in the backfield.
And if you want to talk about that pass rush, Habakkuk Baldonado, might be one of the best global draft picks this league has seen, because he's going to be an every down player in this league by looks of it, because he is that good.
Well, he got to start there for Shane Ray, and had a sack right off the bat early in the game. Had a tackle for loss. Like, he seemed like he was everywhere, especially early in the game. Second half, again, the defense kind of eased up a little bit. Didn't get a lot going. Edmonton obviously makes adjustments too, so they did what they could. But yeah, before the season we talked to Luke Mullender, and he was huge on Baldonado, and said he was going to be one of the key players on this defense. And he keeps getting more reps. If he's going to get a lot more reps with Shane Ray out, then he's going to be that key. So going to need him to continue stepping up. Talked about a couple points. Well, it would have been nice to have another 3 points here, 3 points there, 4 points here, 2 points here. The Riders were, I hate saying teams beat themselves, because yes, the other team does get paid as well. They have to do what they have to do to win games. So, but when you leave 12 points on the board in a 2-point game, 6 of those points we'll get to in a second. But the first 6, Brett Lawther, 56-yarder. Give him the benefit of the doubt on that. I will, and I've been the guy that's been hardest on him out of the three of us. I give him the benefit of the doubt on a 56-yarder. I don't expect many kickers to make in the CFL to make that kick. If you do, I'm thinking maybe it's 30%.
Well, it's funny because
yarder, though, he should be making that.
That's true. But yeah, when you guys, because I think it was a break in the Thunder game, and I was going to quickly switched over to my personal for the DMs, and you guys and I saw they trotted him out for a 56-yarder. I'm like, why the hell are they trotting him out for a 56-yarder? There's no way, because that was after he missed the first one.
Yeah.
So if he's already missed one from closer, don't put him out there for 56. Even on a good day, his best is 57, and he barely made that, if I recall correctly.
59. He did have that 59er at the at half. I forget what game it was this year with the wind.
Oh, that was against BC. Yeah. Here's the problem I have with that thought process. If you don't trust him to put him out there for a 56-yard field goal, you shouldn't have him on the roster. That is now not necessarily a makeable, consistent field goal, but if you don't trust him to at least attempt it, he doesn't belong on the roster. And we saw that this week finally, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But my issue with the kick wasn't so much the attempt. I'm glad they trotted him out for it. I think they needed to see if he could do it, if he could get out of his head and get out of those struggles, because that seems to be his issue. Is he'll miss one, and if he misses the next one, it's over. He's just it's a struggle, but he can bounce back from that first one. And a 56-yard field goal would have flipped his psyche around in a heartbeat. So I get it, but I'm glad the practice reports that came out today happened, because I'm where Alex was a couple months ago.
Have
firmly
you,
on that bus.
Have you
one quick second? How many kickers do you think in this league they're going to kick that 56-yarder? You got Sergio and Maltos. You're not sending Sean White out there.
Maybe Legio, maybe.
Huralahu's not. I think his longest is in the 48 range. But that's a kick that you now expect kickers to make. You watch down south, they're regularly making 65, 68-yard field goals.
I agree. NFL's got some rocket legs, but in the CFL right now, we've got guys where 2/3 of the league can barely hit 50 yards. So to say, that 56-yarder is not automatic. No, because the touchdown return off of a missed field goal would have been the worst case scenario there, and you got Javon Leake back there. Like, that was ridiculous. That was almost game suicide at that point of the game.
The good
But
news,
you know that Brett Lothar has the leg to make that kick. The leg isn't the issue with him. He has consistently made 50-yarders. 56 he is in his range.
His longest is 59 wind assisted. His one before that was 57. I'd have to go back. Like I said, didn't see that kick. I'd have to go back to see how he missed it. Did he miss it wide? Did he miss it
He
short?
missed it wide. He had plenty of leg.
he had the
for it.
leg. He had the leg.
And I don't know. I realize Rider fans aren't good at math, but I'm pretty sure 56 is smaller than both 57 and 59. So if he's made those, he clearly has the leg for it, Greg. It's all up here.
The good
He's
news.
not
I am
missing
well
shorts. He's
I'm
never
well
missing
aware
shorts.
He's in his head. He's got the yips. I understand that. But the fact is, if he's already missed a shorter one and you put him out there for the longer one, I doubt he's got it in him.
But if you know he has the leg to kick it, you have to trust him to put out that kick. Otherwise, you keep him off the roster. To me, it's as
they
simple
weren't
as that.
keeping him off the roster until
Well,
this week.
We might be finding that out.
Finally.
Yeah. The good news is that in a couple of years, a 50-yard field goal will be from the 27-yard line. So you're probably just going to go for it at that point anyway. So won't have to worry about these
times in a
future.
couple of years.
Yeah, we won't have to worry about this in the future. So maybe it's a moot point going forward. The other 6 points, the 2-point convert, and I think this bothered me more than it did Steve on the post-game show and live during the game. The quick whistle on the failed 2-point convert handoff to AJ Ouellette, because they've given, and yes, Cappy, we're going to talk about the Bombers here. They've given the Bombers 10 minutes to
We had to
bring in.
make Cappy watch 17 minutes before we talked about the Bombers.
Yeah, we've seen.
Well, that's
the
not true.
refs
You made a
give
True
Winnipeg
North joke
17
earlier.
minutes
Yeah, that's right. It did too.
to bring in the cavalry and push the pile forward when it's clearly been stopped. This pile was not clearly stopped. They should have kept that going, allow that to play out, and it should have been 2 points for the Riders. That's a huge change in the game. We can argue about the last 2-pointer at the end of the game and the play call on that. Why didn't they keep Tommy Stevens out there after he scored the touchdown? Just push it with him. Steve, we talked about that after the game. You got to have that threat of a pass. And that's exactly why it wasn't Tommy time from, the 3-yard line going for the 2-point convert. Is that your best play? Because that's what your 2-point converts should be. Your best plays. Now, clearly, whatever the hell they ran was not their best play. Somebody running the wrong route. Trevor Harris just chucking it up to the middle of nowhere. But that's why they went with Harris and not Tommy Stevens.
But here's my thing. Tommy Stevens is still a professional quarterback in a professional football league.
Well,
I
so
think
is
he
Chris
can-
Trevor,
Chris
but I'm
Trevor.
not trusting him to make that pass either.
I think Tommy Stevens might be a little bit better than Chris Trevor. I hope he's better than
We
Chris
don't know
Trevor.
that.
Who knows?
We don't. We don't know. That's the problem. Let's find out, because at some point he needs to throw the ball.
When he's
Because
so
that's-
damn good at rushing like that, you let him do it. If he's
I
going to get to
understand
those
that, but-
first downs consistently,
But know what's going to shock people that defenses aren't ready for? Tommy Stevens is out there chucking the ball around.
playoffs, baby. You bring that out in a make or break game. This was not that.
The other 4 points that the team was missing on the way too quick whistle, yet again, on the fumble recovery by Kosi Onyeka, again, sayonara, who returned it for a touchdown, but play was blown dead. Had to challenge it to get it to be a fumble because the Riders clearly recovered, but because it was blown dead, the play stops there, and you can't advance the ball going forward. So Riders ended up just getting a field goal on that drive. That's a 4-point difference right there, assuming Lothar makes the extra point, of course, and another 4 points that would have been huge for this team.
I saw that highlight. I still don't understand why the whistle went so fast.
Probably some ref on the other side of the field. If you watch CFL refs, it's people calling penalties from like the head ref who's behind the quarterback watching that. They're throwing pass interference ones 50 yards downfield. But the guy or the ref where the play goes right in front of, they're not throwing a flag. So like and this is going to stem into our conversation later about the rules, the changes. This is what's wrong with the CFL. Tom Valesi and his crew are what's wrong with the CFL. And
specifically Tom Valesi.
And it's starting to get in. We started to get into it, and it's again, like I said on the post-game show, bless refs of any sport because they take a lot of crap from loudmouths like me. People worse than me too. They're doing a hard job. They're doing it in real time. It's not easy by any means. They got to have incredibly thick skin to do what they're doing. So I give them tons of props for that. The problem is in the CFL, it's a part-time gig. They fly out for the game and they do their game and that's it. And then they go back home and go back to work. They're not training at this at all at the professional level. There's no way to do that in the CFL. And that's the problem. I want to see consistent reffing. You can make the rules whatever you want to make the rules. You can call pass interference or roughing the quarterback can be just a little tap on the head. You can call that. I don't care what it is. Make it consistent. And there's so much inconsistency here. And Tom Valesi has it out for the Riders that every time he does a game, he's grinning when it's, penalty against the Riders. Big grin on his face, no less. Saying F them on hot mics and everything about the Rough Riders. Not saying there's a conspiracy, but he clearly has a bias against the team. But in the grand scheme of things, that's a big problem in the CFL is just reffing in general. And this game had half dozen examples of just awful officiating. And that's what needs to change. We don't need to move 55-yard lines. We need to fix reffing.
Yes. Problem is, though, it's going to be very difficult to make it a full-time job when the players are barely a full-time. It's barely a full-time job for them. So money's got to come in from somewhere. Money has to make it so these officials can be full-time officials. No would actually hold them accountable. They grade these referees every game. Make the grades public. I want to know how this crew did on this game. Let's find out.
And if they're bad, if they grade poorly, consistently, like if they just have a bad day, okay, sure. Everybody has bad days at work. I understand that. I get that. But if it's consistent, if it's back-to-back weeks and you're the worst refs every single time, maybe you don't get a game. Maybe you have to be like, hey, highest grade ref, maybe it's Ben Major, maybe it's Andre Prue, whoever it is, doesn't matter. You guys graded out the best consistently for a couple weeks. You're going to do a second game this week. You're going to do a game on Thursday and a game on Saturday. We'll fly you out. Like maybe that's what it needs to come down to. Just so that we get the best possible reffing, the most fair competitiveness from refs.
Because we only hear about the grading every year when it comes to the Grey Cup. It's like, well, Andre Prue graded out as the best referee this year, so this and the crew's made with all the other best graded officials. Fine, let's see how they're graded. Why not? Like I don't need to know what calls they blew and what call they didn't. Let's see where these grades are at and where they all compare and contrast. I'm legitimately curious on how this looks.
Let me do it for you. I can grade Tom Valesi's crew from Saturday night, and I can quote Chris Jones to do it. Not very effing good. I would love to see it. We see the baseball ump scorecards, and that's fun. You get to look back and see some of these really bad ref games where they have an actual run advantage, where the missed calls cost, say, the Blue Jays 1.3 runs or predicted. That kind of stuff is fun. But I'm the opposite of you. I'd rather see the calls that they miss than the overall grade. I'd like to see where they're messing up to see if what we're seeing is legitimate. Because I looked back and I tweeted out a couple of them where there was blatant missed hold calls on big plays the CFL highlighted. I'd love if they'd go back and look at those and be like, nope, that's actually a good block. I know it's not, but it'd be fun to be able to have that, back and forth.
Just some more transparency.
I don't know what else. Yeah, that's the big. You know what else would help? Having a post-game media hit with the refs. Make them explain themselves. Have them explain why there was a quick whistle on that fumble return, or a quick whistle on the 2-point convert. Right? Explain the reasoning behind it, so that at least CFL fans can look at it and go, "Oh, okay, he's wrong. It was stupid, but I get it." That's where you do it. Transparency.
I love that. That'd be great. And just make the transcript available. You don't have to post it live. You don't have to post the video. Just make the transcript, just like the NFL does. They have pool reporters that plug in for the head ref, and they have a couple questions asked, whatever the big parts of the game were, and they go over that. Simple. You don't need to have a big 20-minute media scrum conference with Ben Major, although he'd be fun. But
Ben Major would be fun. Yeah.
You don't need to have that though. But let's get some sort of explanation here.
If they ever did a live hit with Al Bradbury, I would definitely use media credentials to get into that one.
Your last media credentials. That's what that would be.
100%. Worth it.
But like I said in the post-game show, there was good to this game. We could sit here and find all the bad stuff. There was good in this game. AJ Ouellette on the ground, having 115 yards, breaking 1,000 yards. Keyshawn Johnson getting over 1,000 yards. So there was some good things in this game. Once they played tempo on offense, when they actually showed urgency, they moved the ball with relative ease and made big plays to do it, big chunk plays that got them into scoring range. That's what I'd like to see consistently going forward, is not that you need to play no huddle all the time, but play some tempo once in a while during the game, and don't wait till there's only 30 seconds left on the clock in each half. Let's see what this offense can do. Again, we talked about the D-line. They were excellent in the first half as well, too. So, again, some positives in this game. It's not all negatives. But bottom line, the Riders lose 27-25. Back-to-back losses, first time this year. Is the sky falling?
No.
Oh, it's awful. We're doomed. It's over.
Like, this team's still a very good team. Problem is, though, they are lulling at the worst possible time. Like, they need to get it back together. Like, right now, BC's looking good. Winnipeg put together a decent game this past week. Calgary also lulling right now, which is good. So, but, yeah, the Riders need to find their mojo going into playoffs, or it could be a one and done.
Where I'll start to show that concern is if the Riders lose to Ottawa this weekend. Because if they go on a 3-game slide with 2 losses to the East and a loss to the worst team in the West, that's when things start to struggle. But they are getting healthier. If Sales is back, if Campbell's back, their receiving core is healthy. Even KSB was practicing today. If they're getting healthy, I feel a whole lot more confident. But they need to dominate Ottawa in a big way to really get that, to wipe that that Riders slide stink off of the last few years, because a 7-game losing streak would be pretty awful right about now.
Here comes the tie.
Sky's not falling. Am I concerned? Yes. Am I panicking? No, not yet. They lose to Ottawa, I'm slamming that panic button 100%. But right now, I mean, to me, the big concern is obviously the secondary, but hopefully their addition by subtraction this upcoming week. But it's Trevor Harris. That's a handful of games in a row now that he just hasn't had it. And in this game, it was those 2 interceptions, just awfully short passes. Had a Joe wide open for, 15, 20-yard pass, missed him by 6 yards. Like short. And people are saying, okay, well, after the bye week, whatever, like that's a dead arm. to what he has. Like, he's starting to show his age. He's 39. Is he done? Somebody suggested he might be hiding an injury. What do you guys think?
I hope it's an injury, not a dead arm.
I think he went on that streak of 70 plus consecutive accuracy games, and you could see that he was on a run. And sometimes when guys in any sport go on a heater like that, once it ends, right? But when it ends, you start to see them struggle a little bit because they knew they could do it until it ended. Now they're trying to get back to that. I'm confident that he'll pull out a more Trevor Harris-like successful game in Ottawa. But again, if he struggles again, do you start to look at making the move? If he's having consecutive off games, well, I know you wouldn't think so, Alex.
Tommy, maybe.
But if he's struggling to the level that he is, he's become a detriment.
He still threw 351.
But 200 of them were in the last 2 drives.
Well, I understand that as well, but it's just he's shown he can still do it at the end of that game. I don't know why it took him till the end of the game to get it going, but to go to Jake Mayer, I don't think so.
I don't think we're there yet. Don't get me wrong, but if he continues to struggle to the level that he is, the question's going to come up, and it should.
Another good thing was that 108-yard touchdown drive. In 2 years, that won't exist. So enjoy those rarities now. Rider news this week before we get into the practice stuff, which we'll do at the in the preview a little bit later on. Practice rosters expand, so they made some signings. Signing linebacker Demoy Kennedy, running back Marcus Major Jr., linebacker Tuasivi Nomura. Hopefully I'm getting that right. A quarterback, Braden Shager. More quarterbacks. People are going to love him. He's I think he was the University of Hawaii guy, so they're usually pretty much like a run and gun offense. So the guy who can chuck the ball. And another linebacker, Alfonso Tuputala. So that's who was signed. But the big news more than anything was on who was released. So last week, Nick Jones on the offensive line and punter James Evans were released. Chris Russell Jr. was released on Tuesday, as was Kosi Onyeka, who was our safety the last number of games with Nelson Lacombo and Jackson Ford out. It was due to breaking the code of conduct, is what Corey Mace said after practice on Tuesday. Whatever that means, they don't have I don't think they have their code of conduct posted anymore. They used to, but I'm pretty sure it's off the Roderville website.
You talk, I will look.
But whatever that means, whether it was probably not something on the field, probably something off the field, but they did say goodbye to Kosi Onyeka, which when the announcement came out that they released him, I was like, wow, I know he had a bad game, but this is a guy who's been great on special teams. And, Canadian, you need those guys on the roster. So clearly this is something pretty bad.
You know what?
The code of conduct is up here, and it's the most recent edition as of 2023.
I'll give this organization some credit. If something comes out that he's done something against that code of conduct, they wasted no time in making the move to release him. That's not something we've seen in previous regimes, and that's something I think we desperately needed, is to get that air of trouble out of the way. You don't need to hear about a current player being charged with some kind of crime or whatever. We've had that happen way too many times over the last 10, 12, 15 years. I hope if some news comes out, and I don't know if that's the case, that it's after they've released them like this and they can kind of separate themselves from a player. But I will say I'm surprised you could mention Braden Shager and the University of Hawaii without bringing up Ticats legend Timmy Chang. Kind of impressed.
Well, we'll see who the next Ticats alumnus of his
Alumnus is.
Yeah.
Just going over quickly. Yes, could it be legal? Because basic standards comply with the law, avoid activity which breaches applicable law. act with honesty and integrity, dealings with other, respect differences in ideas, opinions, and avoid public confrontations or disputes.
I feel that was probably it.
Yeah. Respect and treat others fairly with dignity, courtesy, regardless of their race, ancestry, place of origin, color, ethnic origin, citizenship, religion, gender, sexual orientation, or age, or disability.
The Garrett
Be in
Marino
control.
rule.
Yeah, yeah. Be in control of their actions at all times. Take responsibility for their actions. And there's some like respect to the fans, respect to the community, stuff like that. Respect to the media.
I'd imagine for them to release a special teams guy, it's going to be something on the heavier end than just a simple. I don't know, but that's just my
You could
estimation.
absolutely lose it and blow up on a coach and have it not happen in a professional way. Like, I mean, you see guys, you see it happen all the time in pro sports where a guy will yell at the coach or vice versa, and that's just heat of the moment kind of thing, and then it's done, it's over with. But if it continues, right, it's one thing to disagree on something, but if you keep that argument going, at some point your boss is your boss and what they say goes. So
like, yeah, I'm sure if Travis Kelce, after he went up and down both sides of
Andy Reid,
there you go.
you win 3 Super Bowls, you're allowed to have some arguments.
Yeah, and I'm sure if that kept on going into the locker room, that probably would have. I wouldn't say they would have released him, but there more would have came out of it. So
who's going to be the next safety? We'll talk about that in the preview coming up. That is the opening kickoff presented by Kathy Festian of Royal LePage Next Level. Let's get to Rob Vanstone's favorite, not so favorite segment anymore.
Apparently, I'm getting my Vanstone scale is off because Rob admitted to me, and I'm sorry for ratting you out, Rob. Some of these are too hard for him, which really has me. I don't know. I feel good about myself now. His failure
pat
is
yourself on the
my
back.
victory. Yeah.
Yeah, if you can get Rob Vanstone on Rider Lore, that's a good day.
Remember that guy, sponsored by District 306, Regina's tactical laser tag experience. Greg, bring us back to the who's who and who's that of Rider Nation. How many Vanstones do you have this one at?
Oh, I think it's a 3, but by the time we get to the special clue, it probably is a 2.
Okay. Well, let's remember that guy.
For the first time ever, there's going to be an audio hint in this one. I'm super excited.
Okay.
This Michigander was a Wolverine at strong safety.
Luke Mullender.
No. And he will fight you for calling him a Wolverine. He was a Spartan.
Michigan State, right. Sorry,
You
Luke.
should be ashamed of yourself.
Oh, man. He's never coming back on this
He's never come back on the show. Well, it was good knowing you, Luke. Thanks for coming out that one
Sorry
time.
about that, guys.
Just remember, we didn't do it. Just Alex did.
Yeah.
Got his CFL start with the Las Vegas Posse.
Anthony Calvillo.
No. He's a 2-time rider. Was also a Barracuda, Bomber, Bear, and Stamp. 3-time CFL All-Star.
I had to think for a second. You said Bear. I'm like, what CFL team was a Bear? But yeah, carry on.
Okay. 3-time CFL All-Star, 2-time CFL West All-Star, and was the East nominee for Most Outstanding Defensive Player. And now here's my favorite hint I've ever done for this segment.
Come on, fans!
I should know this.
Where it goes down. So say the anthem, make you ready for the showdown. The showdown.
Shante Peoples.
Yes!
Oh! I have that album somewhere.
That's the what were they called?
Frontline.
Frontline. Him and Kenton Keith, I think, right?
Yep.
Ken Keith.
There was one more too.
Andrew Green. Green?
Yep.
Shante Peoples.
Okay,
Very
and clue
nice.
number 7. This is something I discovered while looking this up. This might be the only player I ever mentioned to shoot at cops because he thought they were stealing his new Jeep.
Oof.
It happened in '94 when he was with the Posse.
what happens in Vegas
Stays
doesn't
in Vegas.
stay in Vegas.
No, yeah. So yeah, but yeah, I was so excited. I'm like, there's no way Frontline's on YouTube. Yes, they are.
Yep.
Somewhere in my house, I have an unsealed, unwrapped, or still wrapped version of that CD.
What?
Absolutely.
Well,
Really?
Absolutely.
Auction that off. You could retire.
Tens of dollars.
So that piece of audio greatness is called the Rough Riders Anthem.
Yes.
There is a lyric in there, and I'm paraphrasing. I wish I wrote it down, talking about how there's only 3 cups.
Good for them.
It's not wrong.
It's not wrong. It's just like, that's not. Don't you point that out to people? It even says only 3 cups, I believe is the exact line. I'm like, don't do that.
I will say this, good job, because I didn't have Shantae Peoples on my list of potentials for Remember That Guy.
He was not on your list of peoples?
No, he was not on my people's list of peoples.
Well done, Dave.
For some reason, Frontline popped in my head, and then I went searching, and once I found that, I'm like, I'm not going Kent and Keith with it. But yeah, Shantae Peoples, yeah, that's right.
I wish I remembered more about his playing days. He was
fact,
good.
The front line is probably the most memorable part of his playing days. Should tell you a whole lot.
Like he was
good.
Like,
yeah, he was, like I said, he was the East most outstanding player when he was with the Bombers back when they were in the East.
Mm-hmm.
So, and actually, the Riders took him in the dispersal draft when all those U.S. teams took, but he never actually played with the Riders the first time. He had a cancerous tumor on his femur, so he actually didn't play that entire season. And then they released him from his contract, and then he bounced around, and then came here eventually. But
damn, coming back from that and still having all-star seasons, that's hella impressive.
Yeah,
good for him. Shantae Peoples, this week's Remember That Guy, sponsored by District 306, Regina's tactical laser tag experience.
I was just
wonder which one Rob got it at.
Oh, Frontline. I guarantee you, he was just bouncing with Frontline.
It's probably on his shuffle. He's got that saved in his Spotify somewhere. Let's while he's walking candy, of course. Let's get to our Churchill Brewing Company odds and end zones. We did our Rider Quarter Century team last week. There's an article. Go check that out at pifflespodcast.com. I wanted to do a bit of a follow-up on the CFL rule changes and field changes. Now that we've had a week to dissect it, right? Because we did our show last week a day earlier on the Monday when all the rule changes came out. Obviously, there's the talk of the whole MLSE push for rules and everything with their, deal with the Buffalo Bills now and wanting to bring more Americanization to the CFL. But really, I think we're all agreement on the rule changes, the play clock, the benches, the amended rouge. Some people obviously don't like it, but a lot of people are good with it now that it pretty much needs to be conceded. You're not just going to get a point for the ball going through the end zone. So all those rules, I think, broad brush here, we're good on. But it's the field changes. I think that's the thing that still has people upset. Taking away the 55-yard line, going to a smaller field. Now, what this does, and we didn't talk about it a lot last week, was, ultimately this is all about money. The CFL is a business. They don't make any money. 7 out of 9 teams lost money last year. The Riders and the Bombers made money, and that was it. So I know the owners for a long time have been, this is their tax write-off, and they're doing it just because they love the team. Bob Young, saving how many franchises over his career and just doing it because he loves the league and wants it to keep going. That's why he's losing millions of dollars all the time. But people don't like losing money. And it's time for the league to start making more of it. The idea of expansion. Now that you can fit the new dimensions of the field into any professional soccer stadium, a CPL stadium. Now, maybe there's room for expansion there. Halifax has a CPL team. They don't have the stands maybe required for CFL, but you can expand on those seats. I don't know what the number they could get up to is, but maybe you could get the Atlantic Schooners out there.
Well, their current stadium holds 6,200, and it's a pretty. I'm looking at it, about as simple a stadium as you could get for. Like, it looks like Leibel Field, effectively. All the stands on one side of the field, and then the end zones. There's a lot of room for expansion there. On the one side, the other side is right up against the street, so you're not putting anything on the one sideline. So it's all opposite sides. So you're not going to get a 25,000 person stadium, but you could certainly do a pretty good chunk potentially on the other side.
Can you get
it? Looks like there's a lot of room.
Can you get it to 12 or 13,000? Because if you can,
easily,
maybe that's the number. Because if you're looking at Toronto, who's averaging around that 13,000 range, well, maybe that's kind of the range we're hoping for in Halifax. Maybe that's the goal.
I'm looking at it again. The problem is the road is along two different sides, the one end zone and the one sideline. So your entire capacity is along one side and one end zone, but there is room for expansion in both those spots. So it's possible, but it's a lot better than nothing.
And it's also, it could be, and this is still Halifax's pipe dream, but it could also be a situation where that's your temporary place while you construct a new area for both, because it's easier to sell it on a multi-purpose facility than, hey, build us a football stadium.
Yeah, unless you're the Denver Broncos Walmart owner who is going to privately fund their new stadium. You're probably not getting many owners that are willing to pony up, a couple $100 million for a stadium without some taxpayer money coming into it, right? So, temp home would be good. You have the potential to have more touchdown Halifax games out there. Maybe do one a year out there. Even if you have a team that plays there in expanded seats of maybe, let's just throw out a number. Maybe they get to 10,000. Okay. All of a sudden your TV deal is a lot more lucrative with that 10th team, and you have 5 games a week. So you can probably sacrifice a little bit of, fans in the stands because you're getting that TV money. So this is a guy, Stuart Johnston, the CFL commissioner, who is a TV guy. So he knows exactly what the TSN contract, entails and what TSN is looking for. And now vice versa, what the CFL is looking for. So maybe, just maybe, there is something there. But I do wonder, with the changes, has the CFL realized their fan base is tapped? That they have reached, right now where they are, the most amount of CFL fans that they're going to have? Because if they feel that way, I totally understand wanting to do something completely out of the blue and trying to get as many new eyes on the league as possible. They should always be looking at ways to get new eyes on the league and new viewers, new fans, people spending money, right? My concern is that these changes don't bring in a new fan base. So
I'd be
kind of a two-parter for you guys. Like, do you guys agree? Or I'm asking the question. I'm not saying this is what it is, but has the CFL kind of reached their limit for fans?
No, I don't think so. I think there's definitely room in the Canadian market to grow the fan base of the CFL. The problem is the CFL has had a consistent problem with marketing their league in new markets and in new ways. They've kind of gone with the status quo forever, and it's not going to grow your base. And it's basically, well, I go because my dad went. My dad went because his dad went. That's how they seem to like to grow this league. My bigger question is there anybody out there sitting there watching a CFL game on TV going, I'd really go to a game if the field was 10 yards shorter? I don't see that as a selling point.
But here's the problem. I've heard that argument quite a bit, and once people are looking for a correlation between the two, it's not. Like, these are two separate thought processes. The shorter field is not going to bring in more fans. It never is about bringing in more fans. It's being able to take your game other places, like we already said. So no one's going to, at the end of the day, blind test. I guarantee you, if you just put a C at the center line instead of 50 and show someone a field, they probably aren't going to clock that's a 50-yard line, not a 55-yard line. So I think too many people are getting wrapped around the axle on something like that. But like I said, so yes, the 10 extra yards is not going to bring more fans, and that's not what it's about. It's being able to do a touchdown Halifax, or it's going to be a little easier to find a stadium to do another touchdown Pacific. Hell, there's more soccer stadiums all over everywhere. Like, you could probably do another game on another location just down south of the border because they have soccer fields and they've got rugby stations.
Would they do games in the States?
I would be very curious if they would try something along the lines of an exhibition game. Like, send two teams down to do a camp in, like, Minnesota. Like in St. Paul.
St. Louis.
Yeah, or St. Louis, especially if the UFL dies again.
Yeah,
definitely do a preseason game in St. Louis. But yeah, send two teams down there, do training camp for a week. You would get media publicity going, oh, this is kind of wacky and weird. There's two Canadian teams here, bruh. And then there's going to be a game at the end of the week. Paper the crap out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's not going to make exhibition games don't make money anyway. So use it as a tool to try to bring more eyeballs, especially because you've got that CBS Sports deal.
And realistically, the U.S. is an incredibly untapped market for the CFL. Like you said, they are on the occasional game on ESPN, and people are paying attention.
CBS Sports did.
Yeah, CBS
right.
Sports.
Are they? Oh, did they move to CBS Sports?
2 years ago.
Or have they always been? Yeah, well, I don't watch it or CFL in the States. I don't know. If people are looking to me for breaking news, I have questions for their
supposed to
sanity.
be an expert and better than everybody else, Steve. That's
I literally just said CBS Sports.
I don't listen to what you have to say. I haven't
Obviously.
in 10 years. Why am I going to start now? The time something important comes out of your mouth will be the first time. No, just kidding.
Wow.
Ouch. You're
I don't know
singing
that.
True
I'm just
North
sad you
right
got
now.
me with Shantae Peoples.
That True North.
That was pretty
show
good.
Earlier
Yeah.
was good too, though.
Yeah. But the market down south is untapped. They should do something. And this does open them up to potentially play those games or have those practices, or even just see these guys working out when they do their camps on a more legitimate CFL field instead of a local high school field that's not quite the same dimensions. It opens them up to a lot. I've kind of come around on most of them, although I do wonder if the rumors are true that that stadiums were confiscating signs regarding the 55-yard line this week.
I saw that.
I've seen a few reports of it. I don't know if it's legitimate or not, but I hope they're not doing that. I hope they let the people at least, have their piece, have their moment, say their piece, and move on. But it's a bad look if that part's true.
I'm willing to. We'll give it a few years. Obviously, this isn't something that's going to just turn around in 2027 and all of a sudden they're going to have. I mean, I think it could open up a better TV deal in the States than what they currently have, whether it's with CBS Sports, Steve, or whether it's ESPN, whoever. But I wonder.
The Ocho.
Yeah, wonder if it could open up something there. But
I honestly think the future of the CFL is streaming. Legit,
probably.
like Amazon Prime, Netflix, something like that. That if they could get on one of those down south, that'd be probably better for them.
Do it like how WWE does, where everybody in Canada can watch it on TSN, the way that you normally do now. But in the States, you have to have, you have ESPN. Well, now you need the ESPN Plus, or no, have it vice versa. So it's like, because in WWE in Canada, you could watch everything on Netflix.
Yep.
But in the States, you need to have Peacock, ESPN,
ESPN,
something else, 4 different streaming services just to watch, Raw and SmackDown, whatever it is. Maybe that's the future here is just one CBS Sports in the States, and then up here you have us paying for 5 different things. I hope that's not the case, but I wonder if that's something, because we're likely to pay for games more than Americans would for CFL games. So if you're trying to make money, maybe that's where the money is. I sure hope Stuart Johnson isn't listening to this and getting any ideas. If we ever get him on the show, and Lucas with the CFL has completely ghosted us on our request for Stuart Johnston. But if he ever does come on the show, don't tell him I said that about the streaming idea. But I'm willing to give it a couple of years after the changes, see how it goes. They're going to be pretty quiet about it though. If there's a mass exodus of fans, if numbers are down, they're going to be very, very silent about it. So I am curious to see where it goes in the long run.
I'm also curious on, let's be honest, we've heard fans for years now going, if the CFL pulls through on this, my season tickets are going up tomorrow.
Yep.
And some do. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Few do.
Some people will leave from this change. Absolutely.
Yeah. But I think a lot of it is bluster. Because at the end of the day, you are a football. Like I said, there's football fans and there's NFL fans.
Mm-hmm.
And there's CFL fans as well. The game is not going to change that much. Like I've come around to, it's 12 men on the field. It's the waggle. It's a bunch of things. And I kind of want to see where this goes. Don't get me wrong. At the end of 2027, if I go, that's not the game I still love, then maybe I'll have to have that conversation with myself. But right now, I'm willing to go, you know what? Let's see what this is first.
Yeah. All right. Well, one more thing here in the odds and end zones is the Regina Thunder. Greg, you're wearing the Thunder hoodie there. Beating the Hilltops last week in Saskatoon, 24-17, right?
No, it was a 3-point win. It was 24-21.
24-21.
But
a huge win. Obviously gives them now kind of the driver's seat for first place.
As long as something wacky doesn't happen and the Thunder become the Rough Riders and somehow blow a game against the Edmonton Wildcats, they should win next week. The Thunder will finish in first place, which means the road to the Canadian Bowl literally goes to Regina, because that means we host our semifinal, we host the PFC final, as long as we win the semifinal, and we will host the Canadian, because the PFC team hosts the Canadian Bowl. We would host the Canadian Bowl if we win that as well. So as of right now, everything's working in the Thunder favor.
And they're on PFC's on a bye week this week, and then the Edmonton game is next week then, right?
It is the 11th. Is that what the Saturday is? Or
10th.
Sunday is?
10th?
The 10th.
10th, yeah. Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah, Thanksgiving weekend.
Saturday.
And Saturday. No, Sunday. What is wrong
Thanksgiving
here?
Sunday.
Well, the 10th is the Friday. That's the day of the lights out.
Sorry, it's sorry.
Lights
That's
out
why.
game.
That's why I had the 10th in my brain. Yeah, it's the 12th. Sorry, because we are doing wiener dog races as well.
Ooh,
Nice.
Halftime is wiener dog races, so it's cats and dogs.
love that.
Legitimately. So
That's how you get me to the park.
there's already 26 wiener dogs signed up to race. So there's going to be heats. There's going to be a lot of dogs at that game.
Which is going to be
And
longer,
it's-
the game or the wiener dog races?
And there's $2 hot dogs as well. So
Well, you have to have some sort of, when you have a wiener race, you have to have some sort of, wiener special as well too. So Steve, grow up. I know what you're thinking. Let's.
I wasn't until you said that.
Well,
just
now
to
you're thinking
drive
it.
by.
Yeah. Let's get to our enemy preview. get back to the Riders. Presented by Creasy's Premium Home Leisure Jacuzzi Spas. Riders at Red Blacks Friday at 5:30 p.m. This is where it's going to get interesting. So let's start with the practice updates that we got from the first day of practice. It's a short week for the team. We'll start with the kicker. Campbell Fair took all the field goal reps. Brett Lothar was listed with a back injury.
Right.
What do you guys think?
It's about time.
I mean, the back injury is not from carrying this team all season long, so
No.
You beat me to it. That was going to be my line. It's
Sorry.
Pretty sure we were all waiting on that one. If for no other reason than to see what Campbell Fair can do in a regular season game, let him go. I've watched enough. We've been talking all year about, well, he hasn't cost us a game yet. 6 points cost us a game. And when you're under 70% in the CFL, that is not even close to good enough.
68.9 is what Lothar is right now.
It's not very nice.
nice.
Rounded. Nice.
But, well, which is funny because I was told on social media that there's rumors that the Riders are trading for Lewis Ward. So I don't know why they would trot Campbell Fair out there when Lewis Ward's obviously coming to kick for us this week, considering the trade deadline is tomorrow.
Wednesday. Yeah.
Yep.
The downside of the CFL is there's 8 teams still technically in contention. Sorry, Ottawa, I'm not counting you. Ottawa and
They
Toronto
can still
are effectively eliminated, which
They
is
can still
embarrassing.
host a playoff game. They can catch Montreal and finish second.
Don't be a herb, Steve. Don't be a herb.
They're done. But the fact that there's nobody left to be able to trade with 4 games to go in the season, everybody can still make the playoffs is interesting, but it kind of, leaves the market a little bare for kickers because who else is out there besides Campbell Fair? Haralahu from Toronto because they're eliminated effectively. Edmonton's not trading their kicker. They're still trying to get back into the West. And Lewis Ward isn't doing that much better than Brett Lothar.
He's under 80% as well.
Yeah.
I don't see the benefit of that trade if it was even remotely real. It's not.
So
even if they were, they're not going to trade into the team they're playing this week. I just can't see that being a thing.
See, here's a hypothetical for you then. Because we're under the assumption here that Lothar cost us this last game, so that's why they're finally benching him after, 14 games. Let's say Campbell Fair goes 1 of 3. Misses a 30-yarder and a 40-yarder. 2 very, very makeable kicks. The Riders still win the game. What do you do the next week? Who's your kicker? Is it Campbell Fair again? Now that you're potentially moving on to Campbell Fair instead of Brett Lothar, although they have their back injury that they can go on and just say, well, he was hurt, so we had to play somebody else, and Brett's our kicker. What do you do then?
I
think you give Campbell Fair a leash. I think you have to. If this is actually a legitimate change and not an injury to Brett Lothar, because if this is just an injury, which we all assume it's not, but who knows? If it is not an injury, you have to give him a couple of games. You've given Brett Lothar 14.
Can you go back to Brett then?
If it's an injury, if it's not an injury, no, I don't think you can. Nor should you. I see no reason to go back to him after a 68% season. Thank you for everything you've done, but
if it's a legit injury, they go back to him.
Yes.
There's no doubt in my mind. If this is just their way of letting him save face, I think they might still go back to him. Because I don't think you're ever going to get them to say that none of them believed in him.
Campbell Fair goes 3 for 3, kicks the game winner, 54 yards. Do you go back to Brett Lothar?
No.
Brett's in a back brace.
Yeah. They're gonna roll him out in a wheelchair like Kevin Nash.
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting. So took them 14 games. I was there 8 weeks ago. They're finally doing it. We'll see. Other interesting stuff from practice on Tuesday, their first day. Philippe Gagnon took first team offensive line reps at left guard. Daniel Johnson was listed with a foot injury. He was getting bullied for a good portion of that game against Edmonton. Good to have the vet in there, I guess.
Absolutely. I was hoping he was going to be stepping in at some points last week when Johnson was getting bullied. So be good to see what Gagnon's got. We signed him as a free agent for a reason. He was arguably our highest prized free agent last year, until we realized how good Tommy Stevens is.
Yeah. Johnson's still young, which is weird because he played really good at tackle. How you take a step back at guard just blows. It's typically not how it goes, but maybe it's just not his natural position. So,
I wonder if it's just going up against those stronger interior linemen, right?
Yeah, and that could be it too.
Those tackles are some big boys. Where on the outside, they're still big guys, but they're more speed guys, right?
So maybe it's just not his position, or maybe he just needs to get a little more strength in him because, like I said, he's still a young guy.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's good to have a vet like Gagnon, that's for sure.
Kean Schaefer Baker was taking first team reps with the offense. So there you can get your KSB, MLS, and a Joe as your 3 Canadian starters. And you have probably Del Duncan Busby as your Tommy Nield. I can't see him taking Tommy Nield off the roster. Mitch Picton would come off this time for KSB. So maybe that's your group going forward. But getting him back will be nice. They'll have a tough decision at the end of the year on Kean Schaefer Baker, but that's a discussion for the offseason. But it'd be good to get him back for this one. Tommy Stevens was a DNP with a knee injury. Hopefully that's just a minor thing, a vet day kind of thing. And hopefully Marcus Sales was just a vet day on Tuesday.
I believe Britton at the end did his blitz. That's when he mentioned the cozy thing. And he also said he asked Mace about Sales, and Sales was a vet day.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Because that secondary is going to look significantly different. So here's the thing. So no Tavon Campbell in practice. The scary part is replacing him was, taking Marcus Sales reps was Kerfala Exume. So we need to have Sales back in the worst way. Otherwise, Gino Lewis is going to put up 500 yards. And I'm not joking. He might actually put up 500 yards if he's on Exume.
And judging by what they did last time, where they kept Exume on Tyson Philpott all day, that's exactly what they would do.
So hopefully that doesn't happen. So hopefully Sales is back so we can avoid that completely. The safety spot, Kosi Onyeka, goodbye. They don't really have any other Canadians to put there. So time to flip the ratio. CJ Rivas was getting the safety reps on day one of practice, with Antoine Brooks Jr. taking Rivas's reps at cover linebacker, the Sam linebacker. What do you guys think of that? And how the secondary is going to kind of shake out?
I don't hate it, other than the fact what it does to the ratio. But I don't hate having Rivas back there, and Brooks covered for Rivas earlier this season and didn't look out of place at Sam linebacker. So, all in all, it's
put him at corner either.
Yeah, all in all, it's better than what else could be happening.
I love it. We've been talking about getting somebody back there who can, put a little fear into guys. I don't want to get hit by CJ Rivas. Although, in fairness, I don't want to get hit by the weakest guy on the team, let alone CJ Rivas. So maybe I'm not the best example. He'd have to hit me first. I'd probably just run right past him. I like it though. I love the move. I like the change. I don't know if this is just them kind of feeling things out until maybe a Nelson Lacombo or Jackson Ford are healthy. But I hope it's a legitimate move because they need somebody there who does instill that fear. And I think CJ Rivas would be a damn good spot. And I got no issues with Brooks in the linebacking core.
I think Rivas would be an update or upgrade at safety. What worries me is taking him away from the football. He's so good when he plays near the line of scrimmage. He can bring the blitz and get to the quarterback. He gets tackles for losses in the backfield often. He's always around the football. If you take him away from that, I wonder if that's going to make a big difference. Nothing against Antoine Brooks Jr., but CJ Rivas is proven he is an all-star. Like, to take him away, not saying we'll see a drop off at that position, but I think it'd be unfair to have that same expectation of Antoine Brooks as we do right now for CJ Rivas, who's proven it over the last few years. So that is my only concern, is just taking him further away from the football. Is he going to get enough chances to make plays? But seeing how teams have exploited the middle of the field against the Riders all season long, maybe he's in position to make more plays, which could be, a benefit for the team. So ultimately, I think it's a good move. We were already starting 8 Canadians the way that it was shaped out anyway, so they have the flexibility to just change that ratio in the defensive backfield and not have to have 2 Canadian starters back there. So I think it'll be a good thing. But that's where it's going to be, is that defensive backfield. If they can hold their own and not have those breakdowns like we've seen and get beat deep, especially against, a pretty good receiving group. You got Justin Hardy along with Eugene Lewis and Braylon Addison. And I think those are the main 3. But they have pretty good receivers there. Just got to get that pressure on Drew Brown at quarterback. That D-line can do that. This is a recording. Get that pressure by the D-line, and it'll make things easier for the secondary. But that'd be a big one with more changes in the secondary this week. So, and get off to a fast start, please. Please score some friggin' points. They did this at the beginning of the year. They were doing really, really well at having fast starts, and then they let teams kind of creep back into games late, and they held on for wins. I'd rather have that right now than what they've been doing the last 6-7 games of getting behind double digits every time and trying to claw their way back, because they're just not built to do that. So
you missed a very important weapon Ottawa has. Pimpleton.
They don't really use him on offense the way that they should.
No, they don't. But when he does get a ball thrown his way, he's dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
But the way this team crowds to the ball, that doesn't scare me as much as it might for some other defenses in this league. Although the way they tackled against Edmonton, maybe it should.
So it'll be not a must win, but just in terms of I think just calming everybody down in that sense, it is a must win.
They need to hold serve against Calgary.
Yeah. Dude, Calgary, BC.
Well, that too. Problem is, one of those teams needs to win this week. So
yeah. And I don't think it's going to be Calgary.
I don't think it's going to be Calgary either.
What gives you that idea?
I don't know, 52 points on the road the other week from BC in Calgary. Gives me a little bit there.
Calgary win got Lorenzo Malden, so they fixed everything right there.
That's what their fans think. One thing left to do. Let's do our picks since we're talking about other games. It's time for Piffles Picks.
Piffles Picks.
Well, folks, when you're right 52% of the time, you're wrong 48% of the time.
First game, Friday night. Riders in Ottawa. Steve, you
Riders
want to take
Riders by 6.5. It's been a while since I got one right.
The total is also 53.5.
I would take the under on the total.
Yeah, I like the under the total, and I like the Riders.
I got my picks. You guys can see my picks down there. I got Saskatchewan.
Oh, good. Riders.
Second game, Hamilton at Toronto. I'll guess that it's Hamilton favored by 4.5.
I'll go 5.5.
1.5.
What?
Wow.
Okay, well, I originally put Toronto there. I'm changing that. 1.5.
Nope, your picks are locked in.
All right.
And
fine.
the total is 56.5, by the way, as well.
So you can change them if you want.
You said it's locked in. I have a comfortable enough lead on you guys. I'll take Toronto, sure.
Wow. I guess I'm not gaining any space. I got Toronto.
Well, I'm taking Hamilton.
Yeah, 1.5. That's eek. That's
It's a pick. At that point, it's a pick 'em.
yeah, pretty much. And the final game, Calgary at BC, a game we'll be watching pretty closely as well, too. BC on a heater. Matthew Betts is the best player in the CFL right now, and it's not even close. Was it 9 sacks in his last 3 games? Like,
Something like that, yeah.
dude's unreal right now. Steve, do you want to guess on the spread on this one?
BC by 8.5.
BC 4.5. Yeah. I got BC.
Yeah, BC's going to win in or out.
Damn it. I got Calgary.
And total on this one, too, is also 56.5.
Calgary. BC might score 56.5, for being honest.
Wait, is it in BC?
Yeah.
Oh, I got BC. Sorry. I got the home team. I thought it was in Calgary, but that was the last one.
All right. So we're all unanimous across the board except for
I got Hamilton.
Hamilton. Yep. Well, gotta win game for the Riders. Not a must win, but they gotta win this. Just get that home playoff game locked up. Get first place pretty much down to it'd be 1 would be the magic number, I think.
Yeah.
With a win here. So just get that done. Take care of business, and then we can start talking about resting guys in the last couple of weeks, because I don't want that Winnipeg game to mean a whole heck of a lot. Not with the way the Bombers are playing right now. And then that game against BC at the end of the year. Sure don't want that meaning anything, because BC is going to be possibly playing for second place and a home playoff game in that one.
I want to see Jake Mayer for 60 minutes in that football game. Just saying.
Yep.
The only thing that the only thing that actually works in everyone else in the West favor the way BC's playing right now. BC has 15 games played already. Calgary and the Riders only have 14.
Yeah.
So actually, if Calgary wins this week against BC, that's going to put BC in a really tough spot to get higher than third. So,
but 2nd through 4th in the West is going to be really interesting with the way that Winnipeg's been over the last couple of weeks. Calgary's the way that Calgary's fallen down, and then BC coming up as well too. So at the very least, everything's exciting, but the Riders need to win. Just take care of your own stuff. Let everybody else fight it out for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and we can just kind of coast. That's what I'm hoping for. But I'm a Rider fan. I know that's not going to happen. This will be tough.
can I point something out really dumb on the CFL website right now?
Yes.
So they've got the standings. I'm looking at them, and if you click on the crossover tab, no team currently qualifies for the crossover. In what world?
Probably because it's not official or anything yet.
But it doesn't.
It's like why hasn't Toronto been officially eliminated yet? Because if it ends in a 3-way tie between the 3 teams.
But still, like when you got the wild card race in Major League Baseball, they keep track of that. Like it's fairly obvious that these crossovers in play.
They have people dedicated in the MLB to focus on that stuff. They have the same person that does Twitter posts telling CFL writers what to do, telling whatever else to do, doing 16 other jobs because they're just only hiring a couple people with the CFL. Another problem with the league. There's not enough people working for the league.
If you want people to understand your game, you need to have your information right. And you need to make people understand, because if someone clicks on the crossover and there's nothing here, everyone's like, okay, well, I have no idea what the crossover is. So
sounds like it should be pretty simple stuff, but
it should be.
We'll leave it there. Hopefully next week we're talking about a win. It's been far too long since we've talked about a win, especially with that bye week kind of sandwiching in between the two losses here. So,
hey, we'll always have Banjo Bowl.
Yeah, we will. Suck it, Winnipeg.
Piffles
Podcast brought to you by our great friends at Dairy Queen on Elphinstone Street and Sass Drive in Regina. Special thanks, of course, to Kathy Festian of Royal LePage Next Level, Churchill Brewing Company, District 306, Regina's tactical laser tag experience, Bigfoot Vodka, and Creasy's Premium Home Leisure Jacuzzi Spas for their support, making the show possible. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching on YouTube or SaskTel Max TV on demand. We appreciate it. We leave you with Chris Strevler featuring Tyler Gilbert with Ghost Behind Your Mind.
Thank you for being such a big supporter and fan of the CFL and myself personally.